Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
See somebody's face.
I'm not going to say here that I hate Atticus Lane and he's the worst person ever. Why would I say that live?
He just calls me at 2 o'clock in the morning and says that.
I haven't done that yet.
Do you have?
You've called me at 1, yo. Just go. What happened, yo?
Are you each other's like drunk friend that in the middle of the night that'll call or text with some wild shit?
No, we're sober. That's the best part.
Somebody
has to live to tell the tale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've got a couple guys like I'll wake up sometimes with a text from 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, or like it's like a voice text. Those are always fun.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas is that talk to text dude. He's in the car. Yo, guys, you're not gonna believe this.
I don't know if I have any like friends who hit me with the late drunk text or call or anything like that. People will just call me when something goes wrong, and then I'll get like 12 phone calls in a day, and it'll be about some band that I have no idea who they are. And what do you think we should do? And I don't know. I don't know these people. I'm just sitting at home. I'm trying to watch RuPaul Drag Race.
How long have you been sober?
27, almost 28 years.
Oh, so you've never?
Never.
Yeah, and so was that? Is that like just a choice you made? Is there a philosophy?
Growing up and seeing where it could go, and then the more that you talk to like a therapist or whatever, and there's a lot of people who, I don't want to say push the idea, but it's a thing, like it's hereditary. Obsessionism, alcoholism, that kind of stuff is hereditary, and I kind of subscribe to that. I don't want to fall into that trap. I know I have an obsessive personality because I have like 15 guitars. So I'd rather be obsessed.
No, that's way healthier than alcohol.
Yeah, I'd rather be. True. I'd rather be obsessed with the wheedly deedly than the weedly deedly. You know what I mean? Like, or,
what about you,
drinking
Pete?
or something.
I don't do any kind of drugs. Like I don't smoke weed or anything. I don't drink heavy, so like I drink more on occasion or celebration. Like we have our shot at the end of brew stock. Like that's me. Like I might have one when I go out. I might have like 1 or 2 while I'm grilling, but it's not like I'm like 24 pack.
Yeah, I mean there was a time where I drank heavy like that, and as
I've never been drunk. I'll put it that way.
Oh, good for you, man. I definitely have many times. When I was in my 20s, I drank a lot, and a lot of that was just to numb. And my son was 5 when I got custody of him, so like those first 4.5 years were brutal because it was a fight, and so that was kind of how I just was washing the pain away.
Yeah.
But once I got custody of him, But I'm the opposite. I don't have the addictive thing. Like it's not. It doesn't run in the family.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up. Well, I take that back. My best friend growing up, his dad was an alcoholic, and I got to see some pretty ugly shit there. But it never really impacted me personally. And I'm a happy drunk. I mean, she'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
I like to spread love, spread peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just like, okay, be careful.
Speaking of spreading peace, let me introduce today's guests. We're talking to Peter and Atticus.
What up?
And these are the 2 guys that are responsible for the Make Peace Fest that you will see here at the Rooster on Saturday, September 28th. Let's start there. Let's start with the show. Let's promote the show for a few minutes, then we can dig in a little bit.
Come to it.
Come to the show.
Well, come on now. Let's talk
really?
about
That's
it.
all
Or
you
you come to the
have?
show. If you don't come to the
Jeez.
show, then there will never be shows again.
We're gonna make peace. We're gonna make party, and we're gonna celebrate 10 years of Home for the Day, or we're going to
we're so
celebrate
old.
the prolonging and continuation of the Rooster. Everybody,
Yes.
make some noise.
We are here to
for
celebrate
everybody.
lots of things. Initially, when I had this, I was on vacation when the whole Save the Rooster campaign came up, and I'm like, "There's no way that we can have Make Peace Fest at the Rooster's last show because that's not okay."
I was worried because we've never played the Rooster.
I know.
And
I'm like, I'm not going to make my
me and
first time the
Michael-
last.
Yeah, me and Michael have been talking for months,
Yeah.
years at this
Yeah.
point almost. Like, I remember one of the first shows when you opened was the Victim Complex show here.
Mm-hmm.
And I sang in place of Peter in Home for the Day in Concord at a private party, and then shot up
The
here.
Halloween party.
Yes, and then I shot
He
up
asked us
here
to play
and
that again this year,
filmed the
and I was
Victim
like, "We're not going to have a
Complex
drummer, so I can't."
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
my
literally
goodness.
our first couple of weeks being open.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But,
Matt has been telling me about you guys for years, like since he and I met in 2019, and we didn't really become close until like the start of 2021.
Matt, who?
Jarvis, my other guitar
Oh, okay.
player.
Okay.
But he like he was in a band called No Rope with Dalton from
Oh,
Victim
yeah, yeah,
Complex.
yes,
Yeah.
And so
we
they-
recorded No Rope.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a
This-
good band, man. I hated to see that go away.
But yeah, no, he's been telling me like, oh, the Rooster and Gastonia, we need to keep our eye on that. And seeing it come to fruition, seeing it like continue to be fruitful, you know, obviously this business is such a hard thing for when it comes to small venues and small places like that. And you're kind of propping up Gastonia yourself. So it's like,
Yeah,
you're
own this.
overcoming a lot.
This is you.
Just being here. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, the fact that GoFundMe was successful and the Save the Rooster show was successful, like that doesn't surprise me at all. People love this place. People care about this place. It serves a very important role in the community. All the younger fans and stuff that we have and friends that we've made, it shows like they love this place because this is really their only outlet in the greater Charlotte area.
Because there's nothing else that will do anything all ages. So I mean,
Yep.
Well, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time talking about that, but I'll say this. I was not, I did not feel very encouraged. It's like I said in that post I made the other week, I felt like it was already over. Like I was already preparing to move on with my life. And, you know, I threw this Hail Mary up, and the response I saw in the first 2 days literally just, my banker said it best. He said, Michael, he's like, I talked to you on that Friday, the Friday before I made the announcement. He said that was the first time, and I've known this guy for almost 15 years, since I started my first business.
Yeah.
I've been banking, and he's like, I've never, in the entire time I've known you, I've never seen you look defeated like that. He's like, I've never seen you like that. And I was like, well, I was. And he said, but on Tuesday when I talked to you, or Wednesday, whenever it was we started the thing, and we got you know, the money started rolling in, he said it was like life was breathed back into you. He's like it was two different people I talked to in the span of a week. And I'm like, it's pretty much what it felt like. It just felt like we were on the deathbed, and then we got raised back to life. But that's all I want to say about that. Like, I couldn't be more grateful. I'm still struggling to find words to say to people sometimes for how grateful I am. And I'm just glad we get to continue doing this forever, how long we get to do it. You're right, Atticus, this is a very tough business, especially for small venues. You know, the vast majority of people don't appreciate, you know, what goes into the scene that we create, that we foster. And that's why I don't mind doing all of the festivals. Like, you know, there's been jokes about, you know, all the festivals we do. We do the Rooster Olympics, we do the Bruce Stock, we
That
do
one sucks.
the Headbangers, we do the Bleeding Hearts, we do the Wet Hot Punk Rock. And I love doing those festivals because it is an opportunity to get more people here to see what we do. And every one we see a few more people show up and get hooked. You know, we're finally starting to see locals come to these shows, and you can see it happen right before your eyes. You can see it click in their head like,
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
amazing. This is way better, you know. So I'm grateful for doing. I'm going to keep doing the festivals, you know. Not to mention it does help keep the doors open. In fact, Chris from Squirt Vial, he had a great idea. He was like, you know, we should make this a yearly thing, the Save the Rooster thing. But, you know, going forward, every year, make it a fundraiser for a different organization or different group that needs to be bailed out of something.
I think that's fantastic.
And then that could, because like now that Haymakers played our roof, every band's going to be like, I want to play the roof. I want to play the roof. So maybe that we can make that a once a year thing.
Somebody did ask me last night, did they leave the drum riser up there? I'm like, no, they broke it down.
Yeah.
They're like, you should have left it.
Well, I'm already considering running power up there and building a platform. Like wheels are already turning on how to make that, make it better next time.
Can you imagine if we're putting the big stage at the Rooster? What's the big stage?
Yeah. You know what's going to happen. It's all going to lead up to us buying one of those huge suicide pillows where people can stay. I don't know if that's what they're called or not, but
trampoline style.
I don't know what they're called.
Oh my God! Well, we are very happy to bring.
You book Jeff Hardy's band and have him jump off the Rooster.
There we go.
I opened for them.
You did.
I did open.
I almost played with you that day.
Yes, we'll get there.
I had
We'll
talk
something
about
else
all
to
that.
do.
Yeah.
No,
Interesting.
We're super happy to bring Make Peace Fest here. I definitely this was the first option for me. I really, really wanted to do it here. It was something different, outside the norm, and I felt like that's what this needed in Celebration to kind of see that continuation of moving forward, like Atticus said. We initially had 10 bands, and of course we all know in perfect worlds that never is going to stay together or happen. Ideally, I would have loved to have all 10, because every band we picked from this was very historical. They had toured with us. They had done music with us.
Let's not skip over that. Let's dig in a little. Let's talk about the lineup and what the connection is and why they're on the bill.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about everybody. Let me pull up the flyer, because God forbid I turn off my phone.
Well, while you're doing that,
I'm respectful.
while you're doing that, Atticus, speak for a moment about Seneca Burns and the.
Yeah, you talk about how we love each other very much. And our joint custody.
I want to know a little bit about how it came together, because you guys really kind of blew up quick.
I mean, it's weird. It's a continuation of the stuff that I was doing by myself, just a little bit tighter, a little bit more focused, and a little bit less selfish, if I might say.
Okay.
I've said before, and I'll say it again, I appreciate the things that I was able to do on my own. My own hubris and ego got in my way of making good songs. Over a span of 5 or 6 years, I had maybe 3 good songs. There's not a single Seneca Burns song that's in the pipe, waiting to come along, or the 6 that have been released that I'm I would do this differently, blah, blah, blah. It's all just maybe I'd change the guitar tone, little things like that. But I think a lot of my solo stuff is just bad. Melodically, progression-wise, I didn't understand music. I was
such
just
a liar.
I'm really not. It didn't work.
People begged for you though.
No, they didn't.
I played with Atticus Lane at the Milestone because somebody dropped, and when we met him, we're like, we gotta talk to you, and he's shivering. He's like, oh my God, the scene hates me. And we're like, you want a feature?
Well, I mean, you are one of the most beloved characters in the scene right now. I mean, you know that. And
I don't know.
He might know it, but I don't think he realizes it.
It's okay to be
difference.
humble. I mean, I'm really humble myself. I don't really. As I was telling Pete before the show, I'm still uncomfortable with the amount of attention.
Yeah.
Especially when you it's people you don't know that know you or have an idea of you, but it's nice that you have enough sense of yourself to kind of check your ego, and allowing this band to come together, because I mean it is a really good. If you haven't heard of Seneca Burns, which you probably already have, great. I would say kind of punk pop genre. Very, very good songs.
Thank you.
Talk about how you're doing solo. How did you find these? Because everyone in this band is really fucking good at what they do.
It's very interesting, as we were talking about the Gas House Festival earlier that you guys played. Is a very short random window that happened when I met Peter in Home for the Day. Just a few weeks prior, I met No Rope. It was the first show that I played at a venue with a band. I was in a band called Duckbeak, and it was very fresh, very new. It was sort of a skate punk band, but the front person wanted to be more along the lines of hardcore, metalcore, that kind of thing. He was a big Beartooth fan. He was a big Stick to Your Guns fan, that kind of stuff. I was just playing guitar. Started playing bass, and I was just playing guitar. I'm not really in tune with that kind of music. But we played at Skylark, and the No Rope homies showed up, and they were just like hanging out, having a good time. Had a long conversation with Matt, and admittedly just forgot his face over a period of time. Shortly after that, they played in Gastonia with No Rope just about 2 weeks later, and they met Matt. Christian, playing with Home for the Day, he met Matt. And John, our bass player, had met Matt the night we played Scout. And then the next night, I meet Peter and Christian, and it's like during this 2 week span, everybody in Seneca Burns all met each other, and what's become like the greater like Home for the Day Seneca Burns like family. Like we all met each other really quickly in a short period of time.
We have like a triple king size bed so we can all like hang out.
Oh man, Rochester put on Avatar.
When we did our 2 week tour, every place we went to, we started Avatar: The Last Airbender, and any place was like, you can use our Netflix. Me and Atticus look at each other, and we're like, continue.
But no, basically what happened is like COVID hits. We had just moved everything into a studio at the Duck Beak frontman Mike's house. And I'm just playing this progression on a thing, and he's got this program called Superior Drummer, which lets you program drums. So I just was like, hey man, do you mind if I use this stuff today? He's like, yeah, sure. And he goes out, he gets food, and he comes back, and he does all this, and 6 hours later is the bulk of that song, Do You Know How Bright You Burn? Mm-hmm. And I played it, and he was just like, what the hell is this? Where did this come from? I was like, oh, just writing it. It was just another
I was
Atticus.
just noodling.
It was just another Atticus Lane song.
Yeah.
But like the more that I like fiddled with that, and then I think that night I wrote like another riff and with a lead over top of it, and that became It's Not the End. And it was just like this really quick thing. I wrote the first 3 songs very fast. I shopped them to an independent label out of Raleigh, and they were like, we don't want anything to do with your rap stuff. Put a band together and we'll talk.
Huh.
So I asked if I could get Christian on loan. Matt had heard the songs because he had just recently joined Duck Beak in 2021 in the middle of COVID. And he's like, when are we working on this? And I'm like, well, Duck Beak is Mike's thing. I don't want to try to hijack it. And he goes, okay, well, we'll do this. John has been my friend since childhood, and we were in college talking about maybe doing a pop punk band together someday. So it was like all the pieces fell in. We had a couple of rough practices, but then things started to kind of work together. The 4 of us found ourselves on stage in Texas playing Damn It by Blink-182, and that's like our first show was in 2022 at the Milestone, but we kind of like to say that our first show was in Dallas, Texas. But yeah, then we had that first show, and I billed it as a hiatus show for Atticus Lane, and right before I went on, it sold out, and it was just a big packed crowd. I played one of my songs. The band came on. We played the first EP in its entirety, and then I finished with one of my songs for pretty much the last time. And ever since then, it's just been like a lot of lights, a lot of noise, a lot of I don't know what I'm doing, a lot of really good things, a lot of stupid mistakes, lessons to be learned, and it happens so fast. And before you know it, you're 2.5 years down the road, which like that blows my mind.
Do you enjoy being part of a band more than doing solo stuff?
Oh, wholeheartedly. I don't want to do the only. Just being completely real, the only benefit to doing solo stuff, in my opinion, is I could get in my Hyundai Elantra, have no weight on the suspension, and a laptop, a DI box.
You don't know how much gas that saves.
I love how Atticus has a holistic view of everything, it seems like.
Well, I mean, seriously, like
Once we've toured,
Yeah, like,
you know how much gas you can run on.
you start to like put these numbers in your head, and you look at like, okay, well, we're going to do a weekender. Here's our expenditures. We're probably going to be, it's what you overshoot, so that way you have some money extra. So I'm like, okay, $50 in the tank to get us to the next town. Sometimes you got an 8-hour drive, you got to fill up twice. Like it's no biggie. But like, that's about the only reason I would want to go back to doing solo stuff. I definitely don't want to try to play the Seneca Burns songs by myself. Like that's I think that would be disrespectful to the boys. I understand though, if I did do a solo tour, I may play one.
No,
Like an
you wrote
acoustic
it.
kind of
you
thing.
can do
Like
it.
you do that. I saw Renee Phoenix play Damage from Fit for Rivals at
Yeah.
Amos South End, right when COVID let up. But like, aside from the logistics and knowing that I could, sleep out of my car and save money here and go on a tour, maybe come home in the green, like, I don't really want to. I like playing with the boys. Like, it's just,
It sounds like the way things came together so fast. Was there like a moment where you were like we got something here? This is
that
awesome.
the song Burn was where I thought we had something here, because like I said, I've got a couple of good songs that are yeah, heck yeah. That I wrote that song in March of 2020 and had it record. I write while recording or demoing, so like I've been able to listen to that song for almost 5 years now. I'm not tired of it. I can go put it on in my car and cry. I wrote 2 albums of solo material trying to get that song's message across. I failed over and over again on about 20-something songs.
That's how you get better.
And I just wanted to say what I wanted to say here. And it's why I always do a little thing as we're leading the song up of it used to be a song that's kind of screw this person, this person hurt me. And even though that's what the lyrics are, the song really doesn't mean that anymore. The song is look at how great everything can be. It's not about this negative person or even getting over this negative person. It's about getting to the positive things.
That attitude,
getting to the happiness things, making peace with. With everything.
That is one of my favorite
Come to
things
Make Peace
about you,
Fest.
Atticus. Is your positive, your ability to spin negative into positive. It's one of the things that I've worked on the majority of my adult life. What are you,
27. I'll be 28 next month.
Yeah, so that's about the age I was when I started to figure out that's what I need to be doing, is spinning negative into positive, not just finding silver linings, but figuring out how to replace the negative impulse with a positive one. And if you follow Atticus on social, you're always posting, it's almost like you find ways to dig at negativity, but make it. You know what I'm saying, but make it positive.
I totally see what you mean, and I feel a responsibility, which I guess maybe this is where I accept that there is some sort of public eye on me, not just me. When you put yourself in a band, and this is a philosophy I have, when you put yourself in a band, or you're a politician, or you're a bar owner, anything like this, you can Google Michael Carpenter and you show up. You know what I mean? You Google Atticus Lane and show up.
I haven't done that yet.
When you put yourself in that position, you sacrifice a little bit of something. I don't know if it's private.
Your ability to bitch about something?
It's ability to bitch, but it's just you sacrifice a little bit of your privacy. You sacrifice a little bit of you have a responsibility to be a good role model. You have a responsibility to put good vibes out there and to leave everything better than you found it, because people look up to you.
You become a spokesman at that point.
Exactly.
People are waiting to hear what you have to say and what you have to do. And we all go through phases like that. I mean, when I was doing the whole Hope House phase, that's how I felt. Everyone was like, Peter this, Peter that, Peter this.
Yeah.
And like Atticus said, I felt like I had this responsibility to keep things going and bring people in, even though it would run way too late some nights. And Haley's like, I want to go to bed. I'm like, I want to go to bed too. Or, there are bands in there and they're having technical difficulties and I'm trying to do the best I can. I can't lash out. I can't get mad. We all get frustrated in moments that we have with what we do. But at the end of the day, we are still that model. Yeah. And you have to show that.
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. With a lot of things that come up, can I curse?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of people that I'm just fuck this person. Legitimately. I don't.
Same, brother.
I don't feel comfortable putting that out there.
Yeah.
I am very much I don't want to deal with confrontation and make bigger confrontation, because at the end of the day, our venue is the bars, the concert venues, the houses that we play. When you bring fire to an incendiary situation, you're going to catch the whole forest on fire. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I understand and I totally respect. And in a lot of moral instances, I agree with fuck this person, go after him, fucking give him a bow, everything like that. I just feel again, in that in this, when you make yourself an ambassador or a spokesman, you have a responsibility to listen to every side of everything, be clear, level-headed, have poise, have composure.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah,
it's not easy.
No, it's not.
There are things you see that make your blood boil, but again, you have to be the person who's able to handle the situation positively and effectively. And
it's called being a professional. Really, I mean, you're preaching to a choir right now. Like I couldn't agree more with what you're saying. It's fortunately, I kind of have that disposition already to like be positive, because I don't think if I had worked for over 40 years to get that mindset, it would be a whole lot more difficult for me to stay positive. But I've had a lot of practice, and it's true. People are, I don't want to say looking up, but they're looking at us.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're looking at us, and they're just, some people are just waiting for us to say their own thing.
Yep.
And others are looking at us for inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
You think about a guy who, think about a landscaper who's out there digging trenches and planting bushes and cutting grass all summer long, and on Friday or Saturday night they just want to go have a good time. For them, they have a hard life. Maybe they got 2 kids at home and a wife that's always bitching at them, but then they put on a Seneca Burns song and it's like, this feels good, right? And you don't want the person that you're looking to for inspiration to be an asshole. Right? Same thing here. Like I want people to come here and have a good time and kind of wash all that away. Last thing I want to do is alienate those people.
Yeah.
True.
So I always focus on positive too. And yes, there's a lot of negative to what we do. I just keep finding ways to make it work for me. When it comes to social media, someone's out there shitting on us. All you're doing is pushing us up in the algorithm, buddy. Keep talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Please. So
Fuck Seneca Burns.
Seneca Burns.
all right, so Home for the Day celebrating 10 years. And we kind of buried the lead there. That's kind of...
Listen, it's fine. You too can learn how to be a professional and how to increase morale in you and others if you come to Make Peace Fest September 28th at the Rooster.
How to make peace.
This is actually a workshop. Every band will then speak about their experiences, and there's actually no music.
So talk a little bit about Home for the Day. How did it get started, and how have y'all stuck together for 10 whole years through all the ups and downs and side projects and stuff like that?
Just in case.
Yeah, no, I mean, if we want to go to the start, I mean, we'll just, again, this is big, historic. I mean, I've talked to Michael about it before. Like, it seems lame to be like, oh, my band lasted 10 years, whoop-de-doody. But
that's a big deal.
I mean,
Well, it's something to
not
celebrate.
lame.
it is a
Yeah.
big deal. But then I realize how many bands are like older than me. But it's not about just being 10 years old. It's about what we have done in the last 10 years, which when you really think about it is remarkable. So like Atticus said, when we first started, we were not Home for the Day. I was the last member to join the band. It was called Just in Case at the time, which you could not be because there is a Just in Case from Charlotte who was apparently very famous and like opened for like Backstreet Boys and all sorts of stuff. So that first show was a very quick name change or lawsuit.
and they just had their reunion.
They did
a couple of months
It was
ago, maybe a year ago. It was a
they
10
quit
year
the same year we started. Nothing can go right for me.
Why Home for the Day? Is that?
This is the best part. So it's really nothing meaningful. Like I had just joined the band and we were looking for a different name. And it was recycled. Like I was in a previous band called Home for the Day and they liked the name, so they kind of adopted it. But I was upstairs one day and my mom yells upstairs, Italian Ev, she's like, Peter, what are you doing today? That's how my mom talks. I mean, we're talking like Lois Griffin off.
I got an
Family Guy.
Italian mom too.
Yeah.
I totally relate.
And I'm just like, nothing, Mom, home for the day. I'm just sitting there, like 10 minutes later, I'm like, home for the day. Home for the day. I'm like, that's a band name.
He just gets a premonition sitting at a bar in the middle of the afternoon with the
10 years
microphone in
later.
front of him.
Yeah. Oh, shit. So when I joined the band, they were Just in Case, and initially this sounds terrible. I was actually going to kind of make fun of them because they had posted a song online wanting a singer, and I'm like, what is this? And I sat there for like 3 minutes. I'm like, this is literally fucking Sugar We're Going Down. And I go there to sing Sugar We're Going Down over the song. And he's like, what's the chords again? And they're like, oh, it's Sugar We're Going Down. I'm like, they know. And they didn't have lyrics for it. And I went home, and then my body was like, you're writing lyrics, buddy. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing right now? And that became our most like indoctrinating song
And
ever.
I'm on the most recent iteration of that
You
song.
are on it.
The Night We Met. That's the song I featured on.
Yes. Complete freestyle. You Need People Like Me was the first song we ever released. I mean, it's super simplistic, but it's the chant song. It's the feel good song. I'm like, all right, when I say I don't need it, you say we don't need it. And people are like, I don't know what we don't need, but I'm going to say it.
What are you both fans and inspired by this genre?
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Like, is it like? Did you grow up listening to this?
I did not actually.
Both of my brothers really were like obsessed with Blink-182, and it's kind of funny. Like the first year of two of like my own lucidity, like I was a bigger Sum 41 fan. I liked the Sum 41
I
songs.
love that band. I like that band a lot more than I do Blink-182.
Yeah.
When the Untitled album came out in 2003, the Blink Untitled album, I just remember like sitting in the back of my dad's van, like anytime we ever had to go anywhere, and that was like the only CD that was in there. And so I just burned it and just burned it and burned through it and burned through it and burned through it. And then like 20 years later, I'm still burning through that album and burning through all of them and growing and learning more about bands. Like right now, especially aside from like Blink and all their side projects, Atmosphere, like Prince, you know, Michael Jackson's music, like the big things that I've attached myself to, 90% of what I listen to is like artists under 100,000 monthly listeners, just because I feel like there's so much more that I can learn from them than I can learn from the big stuff. Like the big stuff, I feel like I've gotten it, appreciated it, accepted it, love it, great. And now I'm seeing like what the next generations or the generations that maybe broke through a little bit and had to stop for some reason. It's so interesting listening to some bands like that.
And I totally agree with him too. I'm the same way now.
Yeah, it's like a lot of them, like a good majority of that is just purely local.
Yeah, and I feel like that does a lot of it. Like once you play local, you become in that.
Yeah,
it's like I go to like take people in my car and they're listening to music like, who the hell is this? And I'm like,
it gives you an opportunity to
we get
plug
that
and
all
promote.
the time with our PA because like that's what we do. We play local bands or bands that have played our stage.
Dude, I came here one time. You were playing Cosmic Twink, and like I don't know how many people know that I
love
produced those two
Cosmic Twink.
songs.
Really? I didn't know that.
So
I
it's like
didn't.
I'm up here and I'm like, yes.
I love Cosmic Twink.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot
I
of
didn't know
bands that the both of us
Well,
have done.
Wastoid just plugged a show with Alpha Strain, and they had Chucklehead on the thing, and I'm like, I mixed and mastered that, like,
And I recorded it.
Like,
That's a fun one too. I like that song.
It's just so I'll let you continue, but like talking about playing local on the PA like that makes me very
Yeah,
happy.
it's just funny to hear music that we've done.
Which there was one time, I'm sorry to cut you off again. We were playing. I love them. They didn't mean to do it. They're great. They did not mean to do it at all. But we were playing at Poorhouse in Raleigh, and whoever was working sound that night, as soon as our set got done, it happened to be playing "Burn," like our song on the PA, and the guy skips it. What is the epitome of this band?
You want to hear bad? When we did the album release at the Milestone, Cam went over to the laptop and queued up the album that just dropped.
Oh wow!
And the guy went and turned it off.
Oh, my God.
And Cam's like, it's their album release, man. It's their album. Play the album. And I'm like, Cam, you sweetheart, stop.
Well, we do that for a multitude of reasons. I mean, the number one reason is to support the local band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to get their streams up. Number two is to expose people to the music, the local music. And number three, it's just the right fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, we want you to get paid. I'm probably responsible for like 16 cents of every band's kickback
God bless
from
that
Spotify.
inflated Taco Bell I can buy with that now.
Yeah, I mean, like, truthfully, I just pulled up my liked songs and just scrolling through here, I've got a Home for the Day song, like, right up top. I just saw the Soap Girls is a band from South Africa that we played with.
Was it Scandals, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played at Scandals in Virginia Beach with them. They're fantastic. They've got such a great vibe and energy and like, Goalkeeper. This band that Matt found called No This Is Patrick.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, they're just scrolling through, I've got Sweet Spot, which they've kind of popped off. Their numbers are really high, but they're from Columbia or Greenville or something like that. House Parties, who we played with in Texas, and
I tell you, one of the bands that Peter brought for Brewstock last year, my cousin's girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
oh, they're fantastic.
They
we
are
love them.
so good.
They just
And
signed to
It's the same one that Amora's on, right?
yeah, it's Fred
good
Mascherino.
for them because after Brewstock, I started playing them a lot on our playlist. I'm like, this fucking band is good.
So they used to be a band called
Love the
Above
name
the
too. My
Mendoza.
cousin's girlfriend's house. Like, what a
Well,
fun
Nestor
name.
hates it. He's just like, I can't fit it on the fucking flyer. They have to have their own line. I love Pete and them, though. They're great guys. I mean, we've known them just as long as we've known Amora, who was supposed to play. Really, my cousin's girlfriend's house is the only replacement that I would put on this for them because that's like complete coincided.
Let's do it. I mean, reach out.
I
It's
am
Home for the
under
Day and
something.
Seneca Burns right there. It's the same.
It is.
It's like the
They
same
really are.
relation.
No, they were playing like garage shows enough.
My
like,
cousin's
here.
girlfriend's home for the day. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry.
I
I
don't know where that
apologize.
came
That
from
was
either.
Home at your cousin's
Yeah, I
house.
Let's talk about who else is on the bill.
Yeah, well, no, we'll actually get there. I have it.
Yeah,
I have
got it now.
and we'll actually talk about everybody. So Heft is on the bill. Heft, a long time ago, was known as Shiva's Destruction. I was in the Valley Hills Mall one day, and this guy approaches me. He's like, "You're in a band, right?" And I'm like, "I've never played a show. Like, I've been practicing in a living room." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want to play one? I want to play a show?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so they got us our first show. Like, I'm nervous as could be. Like, we're a punk band on a complete hardcore bill. And this became a trend for the longest time. Like, the metal scene adopted us. It's like we're their child. They're like, brutal, 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 beach ball, brutal, brutal, brutal.
It's like more like little brother.
That's the whole lineup.
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
brother.
Who's my little brother's band?
So Heft is on it. Obviously, a huge thank you to them for giving us our start. I'm so glad they're still kicking. I mean, again, they're older than us. They should be
They're a
celebrating.
fantastic metal
Yes,
band too.
they should be celebrating just as hard.
I bought a very cheap Heft shirt that was a size too small, and I made it a cutoff on February 26th, 2023. I'm like going through like
So then we have the Handoff, which the history of them is they used to be Into Oceans, and before they were Into Oceans, you're gonna love this. They were Mile 257.
Oh my
They were the
gosh.
Blink Rip.
oh my gosh, that's
And,
cool.
We had done a battle of the bands with them when they were Mile, and then they actually got signed for like that short period, and they were like, change your name because it's a Blink Rip. And that's when they did Into Oceans, and then just nothing came from it. And so then they reformed as the Handoff. And everyone's like, is it because of the drummer? And I'm like, no, it's not because of the drummer. The drummer has one hand.
Oh,
So
His hand is off.
the hand is off. And he tapes his stick to the nub, and he
It's
goes.
unbelievable.
He's
That's
insane.
fucking
Devin,
incredible,
Devin is
dude.
an
That's
incredible
awesome.
drummer. But I've known these guys forever.
And he's not a pot. Like he's just
He's
great
a
at what
guy.
he does.
He's a pilot. Do you
Like
know that?
he's what?
He flies. That's his job.
oh wow.
That's why they never get to practice or play anything because he's not there.
He's in the air.
So I actually work at Food Lion with their guitarist, Josh Tomlin. We're both managers there, so my job hates it when we're like, hey, we have a show. We got to go. But he gets it. He's super cool. Our boss is super cool. So, of course, they're on it. They're like Dawn of Time. They helped us do our first stream test with Hope House. We did a split with them called Sword Fighting because how else are you going to have a split with your bros if you're not doing that? Written in Gray is on the bill. Written in Gray was a band that we met at Tremont during a battle of the bands, and Brooks is just a heavy hitter. His drum set is just sliding out of control. Nobody is helping the poor guy, so our guys go up there and hold the kit the entire set. We talk afterwards about wanting to record, and they come to me with their first album, which turned into an EP known as Sea of Embers. I mean, we're talking ancient history right now. This is, again, like year 2, year 3, Home for the Day. But we were in bed with them forever. The entire band were my wife's dudes of honor, like brides dudes. All of them
That's
were
cool.
in it on Haley's side. She loves those boys to no end. They're great people, and I'm glad to have brought them back on this. We had a couple of Home for the Day Written in Gray crossovers, and it was a really big thing. Lawrence featured on our first album. We have Come Clean, We toured with them on a weekender. They've also adopted our guitarist Nick because he likes to infiltrate anything that he thinks is super cool. He'll come in the chat. He's like, "I found another band. I'm gonna hop into, boys. I'm learning their stuff right now. They have no choice but to accept me." They're all great dudes as well. I love each and every one of them. Fuck Seneca Burns. They're on it. We got the whole spiel with them. We weren't like the mother, but we were like the surrogate. Like we were there.
Yeah.
And we helped birth you.
Yeah. Well, the thing was like our first show didn't have Home for the Day or Duck Beak on it because I wanted whatever it was to be able to stand on its own. I didn't want it to be like,
I chose the favorites to make it the favorites.
Yeah.
Literally. Which is like this lineup, like, which is why I'm not replacing anybody. Like we put the lineup up. Everyone's like, "Can I get on? Can I get on?" And I'm like, there's a reason why we have this lineup.
There'll be plenty of opportunities for shows.
Yeah, later on, we'll link back up. It's 10 years. We'll have fun. But like we were there for the first show. Atticus was sending me all the material on my walks. I mean, we were talking for hours during COVID about what was going on and writing and planning. We took them on their first tour 2 months after they became a band.
Yeah. We played 2 shows and then
And when it was the milestone in my house.
it was the
and then
milestone in the
tour.
stream, and then our next 12 shows were almost all out of state.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I mean, poor Christian trying to book this tour, and they're like, "So it's this established band and this band that was born 2 days ago," and they almost wouldn't take it half the time because they're like, "We're not going to put like this fresh out band." Little do they know it's not a fresh out band. Like the experience is there. He's also in it. But we've done so much together. I mean, we've done the East Coast, we've done Texas, we've done festivals, we've done streams. Like I'm not going to not have our best friends on this.
Yeah. I wouldn't, I mean, they're playing or not, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah.
Just because of how much, was it July 19th or the 21st that we played the milestone? When we first met. It's right around in there.
It's right around
that
there.
night, like, changed, absolutely changed our lives.
That was
like,
the bromance that started it
yeah,
all when we terrified you, thinking that we were going to beat you up in a corner.
Well, so where I came from, like I was a little bit older than a lot of my contemporaries at the time. I was more in the house show circuit in Charlotte because there was one at that time. There was this absolutely wonderful, amazing place where, I mean, it's a house show. There are people who are going to underage drink and do drugs, and like, let's try to be safe, but shit, kids are going to do what kids do. You just got to be responsible. There wasn't a whole lot of that at the Ritter House. Like, it was fun. It was cool. It seemed like everybody knew that we were there for music and to whatever you were going to do, go be safe at home and all that. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of super negative stuff over there. And so the milestone seemed like this big, intimidating thing.
And that was your first time playing, right?
Yeah. And so, like, when I got, like, the call, I was down in Wilmington. Or not Wilmington, I was in, like...
You were at the beach.
Was it Oak Island?
Yeah.
It
was. Yep.
I was working. I was, like, down there, and we had finished a day early. And I just looked at my boss, and my coworker was like, I don't really want to stay here. I was like, what is there to do in Oak Island? Like, you can relax, but I'm 21,
Hey, buddy, you take that
old.
back. I got engaged there.
Well, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 21, 22 years old. Like, I'm not going to go find a punk show down in Oak Island. Like,
Yeah.
So my coworker wants to come back too, and I get the call, and I'm like, can we just take one of the vans back? And I took the van back. I picked up my friend who took pictures, and I went over to Mike's and got my Mesa Boogie and my guitar and
Played
like,
show.
all my tracks and everything like that. Stu ran sound.
Yep. Stu's great.
Stu got me the stereo DI box. He was like, I was so nervous, like, because I had never played a show with bands. I had just been like DJ board, flash drive kind of thing because I was rapping. And I was so nervous they were going to look at me and roll their eyes. And he was just like, nah, man, let's do it. Fuck it. And
It's all about the acceptance.
Yes. It was great.
Oh, my God.
It was super cool.
This is the history we're talking about. So then we
I
have,
love it. I'm really enjoying the
Again,
history lesson here with you
there's a
guys.
reason. I mean, seriously. Speaking of there's a reason, we'll talk about Oh You Pretty Things because they're also on this. Go check out that song. So I had met them on the fly. So what had happened is...
how did you meet them?
There.
There?
That was the first time I'd met them. So my wife and I were getting ready to have a baby. It was the It was the start of October 2022. I mean, we're 2 weeks away from popping, and we get a message from a guy, John Damiano, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for a band to open for us at the Fillmore." And I'm like,
me and Christian were in a drive-through,
and I called you,
and he called
and I'm
Christian.
Like, I'm like, "Christian, we just got asked to play the Fillmore," and he's like, "What?" And so,
it wasn't okay. So if I remember the verbiage, it was even more funny than that. It was like, "There's a show offer in the message box. What is it? I don't know. I'm driving. I can't check it. Okay, hang on."
And then I'm the one who.
Oh
calls.
God! It's because you guys were talking about like being chill for a second, and then you were like, "Oh my God, we have to play this Fillmore."
And so I'm looking at my wife, and I'm like, "This baby's gonna be 2 weeks old. Like, you promise you're okay with me doing this? Like, it's the Fillmore." And so we go. They ended up adding "Oh You Pretty Things." I think Christian had heard of them, but obviously we're all nervous. Like, we're all hyped. Like, it's the fucking Fillmore. We're playing the underground. And that's where we'd met them. Like, that's monumental. Locals don't get to do that. I mean, Seneca Burns got to do it.
And you don't turn down that opportunity.
No.
And we've even heard "Oh You're Pretty Things" side of that same story, how excited they were about it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we meet up. We're like, we don't know you guys, but we're here. Like, we have to, like, embrace this. Like, we're friends now. Like, this is insane. So, I mean, they're honored for that monumental achievement and celebration of that. We have Close Enough, which is a band that they're from Atlanta. We had
Their logo is my favorite logo on the flyer.
the P logo.
That is hilarious.
the
That is
P logo.
hilarious.
I've stayed. You guys have stayed there.
Yeah, we've stayed there like 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
They're
So
so welcoming. They're such great dudes.
on our first tour with Duckbeak, when you were still playing with them, we started at the Masquerade, which is like just another just monumental thing. And at this show, Close Enough is playing with us with 16 bullets.
Christian was playing drum. The entirety of Duckbeak at that point.
Christian was the drummer.
Yeah, it was
So it was
Seneca
double
Burns
sets back
with
to
a
back.
different front.
Yeah.
With somebody singing, but it was all heavy. Like we didn't play pop punk. We played like
Like
metalcore.
hardcore.
Yeah.
So we're playing the show in Purgatory, and next to us is Knocked Loose. Like, you're walking down the hallways in the Masquerade, signed for Knocked Loose, 2 feet away, signed for Home for the Day, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And no one's there because it's sold out. The Tabernacle down the street is sold out with August Burns Red. Yeah. I mean, no one is there the first night of tour. But Close Enough was super homies. I mean, they're interactive. They were great. We talked to them again on another tour to kind of come through, and that's when we started getting buddy-buddy. And then we invited them on a week-long run around Florida. And it's not the same. Because, like, we go on tour with Duckbeak, I know these guys. I go on tour with Come Clean, I know these guys. I go on tour with Seneca Burns, I know these guys. I've met this band once.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. I don't know what they're going to be like. Like, I've met them. I've shook hands, and I've said, good set. Let me borrow your amp, bro. You know, all the classics. And it was... I say it's one of my favorite tours because it was just such a different bonding experience. Mm-hmm. Every night we were laughing and having fun and learning each other's music along the way and singing and featuring and joking around, hitting the beach together. They lost their merch in Louisiana. That shit belongs to the Bayou now. It's over.
Damn.
Alligator croc merch, you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna take this opportunity to tell the second part of that Knocked Loose story, but from the Duckbeak perspective.
Yes, because
Duckbeak. So from Duckbeak's genesis, the first 2 shows that I didn't play, and then everyone after that, we pretty much covered Counting Worms every night. There's a fantastic memory I have of I had a problem with my hand for a while, and so like I would use that song as a break, and I would sing it since it's one sentence of lyrics, but it's in New Hampshire. Either way, Masquerade, Knocked Loose is playing the bigger room next door that's sold out. We're playing in front of nobody. They either just went on or haven't gone on yet. We're just like, you know what? Fuck it. So we just played Counting Worms. When we started doing the little like wing, 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 like at the beginning of the song, somebody told them. And so they came in and
they watched them.
What? Now, that sounds like a cool thing. I'm not throwing Knocked Loose under the bus, but when we got done, they were like, do you want to try to like talk to him or whatever? And we're like, yeah, sure. So we go over there and they lock the door.
But let it be known, they were there.
They were there, yeah. Well, we talked to, I think they were on tour with Magnitude at the
Yeah, that
time.
was
We talked to
Magnitude.
some of the Magnitude guys like outside the bus, but when we were loading out, bus was locked down. Like, I don't know what they thought or
It's just-
whatever.
the only
they
things-
probably thought it was like a fuck you to them or something.
Hey, you guys sold out next door. Here's your song.
Yeah, but who knows?
So
Who
that
knows
is the surviving lineup right now. We did have a war to win, which I love very dearly. Cam is my musical idol. If I was not playing pop punk, like that is my genre. Like I love that style of music. It's what I grew up on: Breaking Benjamin, Avenged Sevenfold, 3 Days Grace, like all that dad rock, hard rock stuff.
Yeah.
If I could be like the level he is vocally, that's what I wish I could be, and I know I'll never get there.
Cam is very talented.
We met them at what was the first Raven Fest, which then became Brewstock. And they had approached us and asked if we could swap with them because they had people coming at a later time. Like, yeah, man, we drove like 2.5, 3 hours. Like, no one's coming for us. That's totally cool. And after we played, their guitarist came up to us. He's like, I love A Day to Remember. You guys are just like them. You have that same energy. I love you guys so much. Like, and we just kept talking and talking, and we invited them to another stream, and we just kept getting real buddy. And it's just one of those like super tight knit collab things. Cam featured on the second album. I love them to no end. I hate that they can't be on it. The other one is Amora. If you were here for Brewstock, you caught them. Amora was one of the bands that Heft got us in line with. They were touring, and they would come through the rec center in Granite Falls, Taylorsville area. And we had that super strong, like, kid local scene, and everyone just loved them. And so when Amora would come through, it was them and Home for the Day. Like, that's who linked up. That was the thing. They were always like, come to Pennsylvania, come to Pennsylvania. Like, they were the reason that we had the courage to tour. Like, we wanted to go there and go other places. And I can't thank Billy enough for all the things that he's done for us here, and to give us that courage to go further than that. And that's the lineup for the 10-year. I mean, again, there's so much Home for the Day history away from these people. I know we said I opened for Jeff Hardy at, what was that called?
It was the thing.
Carolina something.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Was it Salisbury?
It wasn't Salisbury. I don't remember what it was. But he was the headliner of this festival, and we were on it. I mean, we've opened for Red. We've opened for Saw. We've opened for Alien Ant Farm. We've opened for Shim, the lead singer of Sick Puppies. Madam Mayhem. Smile Empty Soul. We were supposed to open for Lit, and then Lit backed out. They flirted with us for like a month. It was insane. Like, we covered My Own Worst Enemy, and they shared it, and then they did a cameo, and then they put us on their podcast for bands that have covered the song, and then we were supposed to open for them at Amos. And we lined that up for an album release show, and then they dropped it, and we were like, fuck.
Well, I just first let me say thank you for walking us through all that, and that's what this show is. It's a celebration of this 10-year history, and what you just heard is a testament to what hard work can do for you as an artist. You know, these guys, not only are they talented, but they have the drive and the ethic to make things happen. Opportunities will present themselves, but more will present themselves if you pour into the work. Being good isn't enough.
It's a roller coaster. I mean, we've experienced it firsthand. I mean, 10 years, the first 5 years were a shit show. I mean, all in all, I mean, in the first year of being a band, like, lucky enough, we played Amos's, Tremont, and Ziggy's. Like, I think that in its own is an achievement. I think, to me, that felt insane as a kid doing this at like 18, 19. We had lineup changes back and forth. We didn't release our first album until 5 years in, but these people were singing and enjoying the same like 6, 7 songs for 5 years, and they didn't give a fuck. They kept coming out. They kept buying merch. They kept buying tickets. They didn't care that it was the same thing. And the worst part is we released it, and then a year later, we released it again. We just revised everything because we just felt like we didn't do it good enough. And after that happened is when Christian joined, and Thomas had come back like several times, and we kind of sucked him back in. and we started working on the second album with changes. And that's when we kind of got like a little more real. Things were more gritty. We were experimenting. It wasn't just the lighthearted, bouncy punk that we had. We were trying to fuse the things. And, we've evolved into the later years after changes, where this whole year we said we weren't going to play shows aside from Alien Ant Farm and the battle that we did to try and open for Hawthorne Heights, because we wanted to sit down and do something. It's so hard, even as a business owner. You talking about like you don't have all the time in the world to do things. When I'm in this band, like I can't do a music video and play a show and practice and produce a song and write a song and go on tour and work my full-time job and hang out with my wife and take care of my kid and do a studio and brew stock and fusion media. And I can't do all of this at once. I needed something that was taking a lot of time, shrunken down, so we could focus. And I think over the past year, aside from Muscadine dropping in 2023, this album has been some of the best music that we have released.
Yeah, talk about the album.
Yeah, so a whole portion of this is that Make Peace Fest isn't political. It's not religious. We've been a band for 10 years. It's about coming to terms. We've done a lot. We know we've done a lot. And it's kind of just like that reflecting and realizing that what has happened and what will happen will happen. The final song that is coming out is also called Make Peace, which we'll release a day before on the 27th. And it is a testament to everything that we have written in the past 10 years. There's references and lines and everything that kind of comes together and tells a story of not wanting to give up, but having an understanding. And I'm very, very excited to release it. Just as Do You Know How Bright You Burn is Atticus's I'm Gonna Cry in a Corner song. That is mine, and I have probably cried more times as an adult man than ever listening to this song. And it's just emotional. I want this show to not only be for the bands that deserve to be on it, that have been historically with us the past 10 years, but for the people, like the fans and friends that have been with us. Like, this night is also for you and for people who are still trying to figure out who we are. I mean, we have the reputation where we go out, Home for the Day is the beach ball band, Home for the Day is that inflatable band. Dude, like, you go to a Home for the Day show and you're leaving with an inflatable concussion. Which all that glass has to get put up, I'm telling you. You're in for it, man. You should have never let us have this.
Oh, come on. We're looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. Thank you for doing it here.
No,
I mean, could have done this
again,
anywhere,
like
I'm grateful.
I wanted something different. I wanted this in a place where everybody could be there, because we have parents that come to shows and they have their kids, and these kids are throwing around beach balls, and the parents are trying to like have them give it back to me. I'm like, it's a beach ball. Please let your kid have it. Like,
So we need to get
care.
like a bunch of beach balls.
No,
then, like,
he's got that.
Oh,
too.
I'm on Target's
He's got
FBI
it.
watch list.
He's probably cleared out the local dollar store.
The back of the pile, it ain't safe right now.
But please don't bring air horns. So and that's just it. One of the reasons it's here is because we're an all ages venue, so you can bring the kids, and it is a kid friendly show. I mean, it's all about family. That's kind of our MO. That's what we're here for, is to build community and build family. And I for one am really looking forward to this festival, man. And I can't thank you enough, man.
Well, thank you.
I love working with you too, but both of you,
Yeah.
you guys are so easy to work with.
It's been an absolute pleasure for everything we've done. I enjoy coming out to the Rooster for everything that I've been out to, whether it be for work or leisure. And it will be both of our first times like actually playing, which is another big exciting factor. I mean, we can't count Home for the Day acoustic, cover for the day, whatever. It's fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but you're not
We had
getting...
a fun set at our open mic one night. That's fun.
Yeah.
I squeaked my heart out.
Yeah.
I came back and I did it again. It was better the second time. No, I remember practicing on the couch, and I look at Haley and I'm like, I don't know what happened. But no, I'm beyond excited to bring it here. I'm beyond excited to let this be our first time. Thank you both again for letting us be here to do it. Just thank you to all the bands who are still on this, the ones who are rooting from far away, the ones who are coming out to this. the ones who are now thinking about hopefully coming out to this, come to Make Peace Fest.
Yeah, get those tickets in advance, save a few bucks.
Yes.
Let's sell this show out, man. Let's show some love, man. Like, I can't thank everyone enough for showing us love to help keep our doors open. We basically sold out the Save the Rooster. Let's do it again for Make Peace. Let's get a couple hundred people out here. Let's have a good time. And y'all want to plug anything else? You want to plug the next day? You want to talk about that?
We'll talk about the next day. So for those who don't know, and for those who do know, I run something called House Shows for Hope back in Taylorsville. Our old producer, Stephen Gannert, he's also the one who did the Brewstock video. Whenever we had COVID hit, he had come to me when I had moved into our new house. He's like, I think I found a way to stream shows online. And I'm like, well, yeah, you put a camera and you let it go. He's like, no, I'm talking about like well-produced, live in the action, like you can talk to the band. And I'm like, okay, all right. And there was nothing else of this kind going on. And truthfully, for still seeing things, I still don't feel like I've seen anybody do it the same level that we've managed. But we bring bands in and we stream them live on Twitch. You can talk to them. You can hang out. We've had reunions. We've had first releases. We've had first shows. We call it the Hope House. Thank you, Atticus. You did that.
I don't even remember doing it.
You said if you fuck with the Hope House, put your hands up high.
Oh my God.
During one of your sets. And Christian pulled me close. He's like, he just did it. He named the house. And that's why we call it the Hope House.
I've heard that I named it, but
that's
I
what
never
happened.
remembered.
That was the one during COVID too. That was
Really?
when COVID hit in March, and we were still trying to get food donations.
So as we're doing the Make Peace Fest, the very next day.
Yes. So the very next day, is a part 2. It's not technically Make Peace Fest, but we're going on tour. You might as well keep it rolling if it's the next day and you have another not 3-4 band lineup. But we are doing the Top Heavy 50th stream as a celebration for everything that we have accomplished through that as well, which has been a huge point in Home for the Day and meeting so many bands, giving them chances. So that night we have... I scrolled the wrong way. We have Dear Cavalier, American Theory, Rothschild, Tree Farmer, which if you are a regular to the Rooster, Drew Bumgarner. We are giving him his first show.
So excited.
I know he is so excited.
So
He's like,
excited.
I am posting it twice a day, every day.
I am so proud of him.
And
I'm so happy for him.
look, we're a safe spot. I want him to have this. He'll have the content. I'm very excited to have him. And we'll give just a little more history. During one of our streams, I invited a band called Forever Yours. It was for my birthday, and they showed up in wife beaters, and they all go on stage, and this man, Damon Heath, looks in the camera and says, "Forever Yours is a bunch of mean words. I mean, I'm talking unbelievably mean words. So fuck them." He says, "We are Rage Against the Beastie Biscuit." And
Right?
and this is our first song called Bad Motherfucker. And for a split 5 seconds of just stillness between the studio room and the crowd, not understanding what just happened, they kick it in. And for what is probably the most comedic thing over every new metal riff ever, became something unbelievably loved. So they are going to destroy my basement. They're not a real band. I mean, they are a real... I don't know what they are. They're a blessing. That's just all it is.
Right on. So, come to the Make Peace Fest Saturday, recover Sunday morning, and then tune in.
Yeah, you don't even have to get out of bed.
You can just nurse that hangover all day and then see some great music the next night. Awesome, fellas. I guess we're going to wrap it up, man. I seriously,
We have gone
this
on.
was the easiest podcast I've ever
Right?
done, dude. Thank you
We
so
basically
much.
just handed it over.
Yeah, this was awesome. It was fun to get, because I didn't know a lot of the history there.
No.
And I'm grateful that you came on here to tell the story. Atticus, thank you. I want to hear your rap music now. Like that's exactly
Yeah.
what I'm about to go
That's
do. Is go
interesting.
look up the Atticus.
Break out
Lane
the
hip-hop.
Coca-Colas. Let's go. He's like, I should have never.
It's out there now.
You got to
brother.
talk about it. I mean, it's not
there.
a hidden
It's
thing.
part of it.
Hey, my last show, I sold out the Milestone as a headliner, as the only local, and as a rapper.
Fuck yeah, man.
And like that's
what's up.
not an easy thing to do. So
Well, it's like I said earlier, man. You are beloved in this community. People see you. People see you. They see the work you're doing. I see you, and I'm grateful for what you do.
I didn't see you
Yeah.
because I didn't recognize your face. So sorry about that.
Ariel was talking about that first time. Like, oh no, I know the story.
Yeah. We have this.
I'm an asshole. I'm sorry.
You guys, I am too.
No, I've got a big chip on my shoulder in certain regards, like just in certain things, and like
I'm
so
Atticus
I am
from
sorry.
Brewstock.
It's not. Didn't I tell you I wasn't? I was like, Atticus. You're like, where are you at it? And I was like, no.
Yeah, he was like, no. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
That was actually, we never met the first Brewstock.
Oh yeah, because
Never. Because I was out there.
Yeah.
He
I was
took
in here, yeah.
over in there. So
He worked his ass off. That
I
first
heard,
time.
I
My
heard.
God.
I didn't really do anything except
Dude,
yell at
every
everybody.
time I turned around,
That's
you
all
were
I
going.
do.
You were
Stability
going.
is working your ass off.
Yeah.
That's
You
all
just-
I do, Atticus. I yell at people.
It's nothing more than just a simple transfer. One goes
Yes.
out, one goes on, one goes
Yeah,
in.
but that's a lot
it.
harder than people think
It is. It
We're
is.
dealing with some people, yes.
Right.
We've seen things.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man.
But no,
The stuff you
to
see.
finish my point, we have this small space here, and I'm doing the most I can with what we've got here. But it is so encouraging when I see guys like the two of you doing all the things you're doing, getting not just doing it for you, but reaching a hand out and pulling people up with you.
Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of stuff that gets me off, man. I love what you guys do, and I'm always going to be here for you guys. What, did I say that wrong?
Yeah, the wording was real jacked up.
I
but
got
it's
it.
all right. We
Listen,
know what you meant.
You know
We
what
just
I mean.
appreciate that you like two bands that suck.
Oh my gosh.
But thank you for doing this. Of
course.
Check these guys out. Make Peace Fest. You can get tickets on our website right now. Check out Seneca Burns. Check out Home for the Day. If you don't know the music yet, go. You got a week or so to load up and listen and learn so you can sing along because they're all good tunes and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. Thank you to all the other bands that are on the festival. We'll put some links out there or pop something up on the screen to help promote them as well. And thank you for listening, watching, whatever. We're going to wrap this up. Anything else?
When's part 2? I can
Awesome.
keep going. We literally only did the
we
history
scratched the
like
surface. I
2019,
mean,
like,
we can talk about everything, man.
keep
Going
going.
through
We
all the
got
photos,
stories.
like I've been going down memory lane. I'm like, oh my god.
Thank you for watching. This has been another episode of Rooster Radio. Thank you for being here. Peace and love.